Good morning, class, and welcome back. Today we're going to go and continue our lecture on the origins of the Russian Revolution. Remember that this is a horrible time for the Russian people, and it eventually led up to a massive revolution that would change Russia from having a Tsar to having Russia being under control of a communist party. Now, our goal for this lecture is to discuss some of the general causes of the Russian Revolution and the political changes in the Soviet Union through the Stalin era. We also want to ask ourselves, to what degree did the nation of power actually change in Russia during this period? Was the change of power monumental, or did it not make a difference to the way Russia was being run? Before we go into the Russian Revolution itself, we must first discuss what has led up to that point, and it all starts with Peter the Great. When he was a young adult, he toured Western Europe and admired how civilized they appeared to him. He especially liked the France and how the Palace of Versailles looked and seemed to be. When he came home, he wanted to westernize Russia, and that was his goal. So what he did to make it that point was he made the aristocracy of Russia dress French. He made them speak French, and he told them that they could not have beards at all, because when he saw the people in the Western world and he viewed how they didn't have beards, apparently. He had such a strange mindset to where he wanted to pretty much change Russia into France, and that was shown here, and that is especially shown in this picture. The image of the palace in this image, the palace of Peterhof is shown. This is Peter's attempt to beat the Palace of Versailles. A bit delusional, but it's something that he wanted to do. These were superficial changes that did not address the actual problems in Russian society. The real problem was serfdom. Now, Russia operated under a system called serfdom, which ties peasants to the land and was also a form of forced labor. By the 1800s, Western Europe had transitioned away from forced labor and embraced wage labor as the Industrial Revolution spread across the continent. However, Russia held on to this labor system until 1861. And even when they solved, quote unquote, the problem, the solution was not sustainable. Families were given finite plots of land and were told to split their land amongst their children. By 1900, millions of Russians were completely landless, and they finally began to resist the out-of-touch absolute monarchy of the Tsar. In the very early years of the 20th century, the Russian monarchy faced major obstacles. In 1904, Russia became the first great European power to lose a war to a non-European country. They had a war with the nation of Japan, and they lost, surprisingly. This whole ordeal made the Tsar look weak. The Russian Revolution of 1905 broke out in part due to this defeat, where Russian peasants protested for land reform, and a limited constitutional monarchy. They were not asking for that much. During one of these protests, which was named Bloody Sunday, peasants were slaughtered in the streets of St. Petersburg right in front of the royal palace. Once World War I broke out, Tsar Nicholas II was barely holding on to any absolute power that he had, and hoped it would still unite the country. However, due to his terrible leadership during the war and how things were looking at the home front, the industrial capabilities and morale were so low that the Russian military lost battle after battle.